Hello everyone. Today I will talk to you about complicated bees. This is a mod that is included in Reclamation mod pack. I've already done a couple of videos about bees here, but this is going to be different. This is going to be more methodical and more technical. So go grab a drink or something because you're gonna need to be kind of relaxed for this. And concentrated, guys. You need to concentrate for this one. Okay, so let's start. Number 1. First bees are bad bees. Don't be discouraged. What do I mean by that? The first bees that you get, the wasteland bees and the dried bees, their dominant genes are hot and dry, which makes crossbreeding difficult because you're gonna need frames to change the climate conditions. That means crafting things with resources that you probably barely have when you're in the beginning of the game. Here, I'm at the end of the game, so I have easy access to all of these resources. And I also have enchantments, so I put enchantments like mending and unbreaking on the frames. Yeah, mending and unbreaking, and I can use my mystical agriculture droplets to mend these frames. And here we have dry frames, and I also have access to air's token. You will see here these wax frames have air's token applied down at the bottom, which means that they will not break if I forget to mend them. Otherwise, when the frames break, you will need to keep getting resources and to keep crafting them. It's not that bad, it's just that it's annoying. However, there's a way that things get much better later on. Actually pretty fast if you know what you're doing. Number 2, you will need propolis. So in order to build some of the machines, we need propolis, and we also need propolis for this ritual that gives you a bee nest. This ritual, if you give it a drone of a specific species, it will give you a queen, so a nest, a queen and drones of that species, which is good for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, you're converting your drone into a queen. So if you need more queens and a queen of a specific type, that's the way to do it. The second reason this ritual is really good is because you can get a bee of a specific species with its default traits and characteristics. We will talk about this more in the technical part of the video. So in order to get propolis, we need rocky bees, and we need to manipulate the rocky bee so that we can automate it. Because here we have an automation. The system is automated. If your bees do not have the same characteristics, and they keep changing from hot to normal, from dry to normal, etc., you will not be able to automate them because you will need to be changing the frames constantly. So we need to crossbreed them in a way that they stabilize and they don't change anymore. And that is actually the main reason why I'm making this video, to show you how this happens. Let me explain to you how this automation happens. We have the apiary here. The hopper under it accepts the combs and the bees. With configurator and shift right click, We clicked until it says pull. So it's pulling the items out of the hopper. Then they try to go into the apiary. The combs will not be accepted, so they will keep going up. But the drones and the queen will be accepted here. And that is why you see here the drones accumulating. So I saw this on the Discord of Reclamation Modpack. Huge thanks and shout out to the guys there. And here I have 2 more of these. These, they don't have any frames. And I'm using them to experiment a little bit with Aura. More about that later. So now we will talk about the actual mechanics. How can you manipulate the evolutions? And for that, we need to go deep and explain the statistics, not statistics, let's just call them traits or characteristics. So this is the analyzer. You're gonna be needing to analyze every bee that you will be using to change these characteristics. However, you can have some hives with bees that you will keep breeding just to get honey droplets and combs. Because you're gonna be needing so many honey droplets, you will run out. So just set up a lot of apiaries, a lot of hives, so that you have a steady supply of honey droplets that you will use only for these bees that you want to change their characteristics. So here we have the one rocky drone, just a random bee. And you need to understand all of these things in order to crossbreed them into a drone or a queen that will be stable and will not keep changing. As long as the active column and the inactive column are different to each other, then there will always be danger that breeding will lead to a different type of bee. So we need to get the active and the inactive completely the same. However, not randomly the same. Just because it says here slower doesn't mean that we want the inactive one to be slower as well. Because slow is better than slower in productivity. If I had one with fast, I would try to crossbreed them into fast. So this is the column of the active gene, and this is the inactive gene. Every time you crossbreed them, the new bees take some characteristics from the active or some from the inactive column. What was most important for me was the humidity and the temperature. So what I did was I crossbred my rocky drones into normal and normal humidity, both of these, so that I don't need to use dry frames. I did the same for temperature. So basically I chose these two, and then when I got my drones into normal here, then I started thinking about other threads here. For example, life. I found some of them had average life, and I was like, oh, blue, that must be really cool. So I crossbred them into average life, which now I'm not sure it's good. Because it doesn't really affect the productivity exactly. It doesn't mean that a longer life produces more, but that's not so important right now. Productivity, however, will be very important for you if you want to get propolis from these guys. it's better to have slow productivity than slower. This guy here, this rocky drone, has slower as the active gene. And we would like, if we were to use this drone for breeding, we would certainly have to change it into slow by crossbreeding the drone with a queen that had here both slow and slow. That would be the way to change it. It may change, it may not change. It's a bit of a gamble, but in general, it works if you try a couple of times. Here is the flower, dead bush, humidity and temperature. This is the territory that it affects. The effect is aura. This effect generates aura nearby, which is a lot of fun. Just another way to have aura around your area. Fertility means how many drones it produces, how many drones you will get after the cycle ends. Active time diurnal means that it's active during the day. This is also something that I had to fix because if they are nocturnal and then you have some that are diurnal, you're gonna have to be breeding different bees during the night and other bees during the day, which is really not practical at all. So you want to be crossbreeding them into probably the same active time. Cave dwelling, no. Weatherproof, no. Cave dwelling, we need this for bees for the nether. Weatherproof, I haven't found one that's weatherproofed. If I had, I would crossbreed that into it. So there are two ways to get your specific species. Either you crossbreed it, you crossbreed, let's say, a wasteland bee with a rocky drone, and slowly it will convert into a hybrid one, wasteland rocky, and then it will convert into rocky. This is like a threat to the species. Or you can use the mutations. Desiccated and dried princess has a 40% chance if it has a tough block under the housing to produce a rocky bee. So this is the way to get it through mutations. But you can also get it if you crossbreed a rocky with some other species. So the book here has a genetic overview. It's not very easy for me to understand what the author wants to say here. However, here it is said very beautifully that when breeding together, 50% of the time you'll get a hybrid, 25% pure, and 25% pure of the other gene. So this is how I made sense of this. Let me sleep and we will continue. So we went through all the threads. These guys here, the Rocky Queen and the Rocky Drones, they are like the drone we saw, but they are both slow. Not this one slower. They are diurnal and they have aura and they are slow, probably like this guy over here. The same is for these bees. You see that they're all producing aura. And these ones. So let's have a small break with the Teru Teru Bozu guy. This guy is very easy to craft. You just need string dipped into mana. And this guy is really cute, and if it's raining and your bees cannot breed, you just grab one sunflower and you throw it to him and he eats it. Right now he doesn't because the weather is good. And then he changes the weather. It's really cool to know. Hi, Ginger Plague. So, I have here these bees. These bees have the problem that they are slower, and I'm trying to change. I've done the breeding at least 4 times now, maybe 5, and still the second gene is slower. So, let's check the result this time. We will put the Rocky Princess here. Ooh, she changed. Finally, after 5 times or more, we got slow, slow. Dead bush, normal, 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 normal. Territory aura. So this Rocky Princess now is good to be used in an automatic setting. What about this drone? Oh, this is slower. We will put this one here. We will use it in the microscope, these extra bees, for discovering mutations. This one's slow, slow. Very nice. Normal, 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 normal. Diurnal. So these 2 guys appear to be okay, but sometimes, somehow, even then, there may be an issue. So before I put them into an automatic apiary, I will do a couple more to be certain that there are no genes that go back. So here we have the centrifuge, the chest where I put the combs. This is set to pull with the configurator. Shift right click, goes into the centrifuge, a couple of upgrades, and shift right click from the centrifuge, basic logistical transporter, into the netherite chest. And here I'm getting the beeswax, the honey droplets, and the propolis. So you can also, I could probably bring it here and connect it with pipes, but for now, let's collect everything by hand. And that's how you can get a lot of propolis. So we solved the propolis problem by getting 2 really nice rocky drones. Now here I have the microscope. I have a natural drone in here. I've researched one of the 2 mutations. I'm using these spare drones to get new mutations. This just increases the chances that we're getting specific mutations. So what I usually do is I try to get the first one right, the first combination right. And from there, I just use drones. And it gives me the answer, this and this one. Make sure to memorize it, because if you click on the first one, it will stop showing the other one. Don't forget. And the last one we don't need to do because these are the only ones left. Oh my god, it wasn't the only one left. Okay, it was 50% chance to get this right. Oh my god. So we've researched all the mutations. I'm getting the drone back. And Dawnstone, very nice. That's one of the things we need. And here I keep pairs or whatever I have from the different species. So I don't have a resilient queen. That means that I need to make a ritual to get one. Or I crossbreed one of my other queens into one. These are the 2 ways. I think I've discussed about everything, guys. If you don't understand anything, just let me know in the comments, or you can also join the Discord that I have, where I will see the questions faster. It's sometimes difficult to explain things once you have understood the mechanic, but I hope that it was clear enough. If not, just comment. Okay, bye. See you. Bye.